Hey everyone, welcome to this composing session where I'm going to work through a new piece of music and you can follow along. Some of these pieces of music I'm just going to develop a little bit just for one session and then move on. This one I plan to kind of fully develop it over a couple different sessions. I had recorded an initial session of me coming up with this first melody here. The problem was that my screen recording failed, so we'll just jump in from where I'm at in the piece now, rather than trying to recreate everything that I went through already naturally, which won't really happen. So the whole point of this piece of music that I'm working on is to have this sort of piece of a story in mind. It's based in a fantasy world, and it's a moment where the protagonist realizes that somebody they know, somebody that they're close to, is actually either the antagonist or is somehow working against them, is involved with some opposing force. And so it's sort of a moment of realization. So the beginning of the piece, I want it to kind of reflect the protagonist, have a melody for this protagonist, and kind of be in a state of wonder or curiosity that then leads to the discovery and the realization of this other person not being who they thought they were. At which point I want to introduce a second theme for that person, which will be what I'm working on today. So the melody that I've come up with so far for the protagonist in this sort of scene in my head is based in C minor. Initially, I started with the Dorian mode, but I quickly got away from it. Just not any particular reason, just what I happened to put together wasn't quite working. So here's the melody that I have so far. I have it just in two instruments at the moment, the clarinet solo and the Elder 8 string ensemble from Albion Solstice. It's the point of that library is sort of like it's kind of like Celtic in nature and origin, but essentially these string sections are kind of just a chamber, just chamber strings. Here's what they sound like on their own. So since I don't have a better chamber patch, that kind of gives me a good in-between between some of the solo libraries that I have and the full orchestral library. So again, that's clarinet solo and the Elder 6 playing together, and this is what they sound like together. And I don't mind that orchestration. I might change it up as I develop this further, but that's where it is for now. I had tried another flute for this, but the flute was in the key of F, and I couldn't quite make it work for the range I wanted it to be in, so I just abandoned that. Anyway, that kind of pretty much gets you caught up to where we're at. I went through a couple iterations on the melody, and this is where I landed. And it's in 6/8. And so as I develop this second melody for the turn of this other character, I want to go. What I had in mind was focus on brass to start, and I want it to be less melodic and more like a rhythmic sequence or an ostinato sort of thing, where it's less of a singable melody and more of just a chugging feeling, you know. So with that, let's just get into it and start to develop some ideas here. So let's go forward in the project a bit. And I think I might want to start with bass trombone. Let's see what we're on. We're on legato there. Okay, let's bring this down a bit, just so I'm not coming in at full fortissimo to start with. Okay, instantly Jaws vibes. Not intentional. Okay, so far I just feel like I'm going too much overall. Let's switch to horns and to a horn solo and see if I can come up with something that's less, obvious and just kind of in your face. Let's bring this up a bit. Okay, so I don't mind that, and the chromatic note there outside of the key. So I'm getting somewhere with it, but I'm not quite locking in on something I like yet. Oops. Bring that down a little bit. It's a little too smacky. The retriggers are a bit too hot. Let's try that. Okay. The tones are okay, but I feel like it's too quick. I want it to be more. It needs to be more of a discovery and like a slow realization. I'm not quite capturing that feel yet. Let's go over here to the bassoon. Let's see what we can do with that. Okay, maybe it's a simple rhythmic pedal tone, and then I can build in like spiccato strings or something with a movement underneath, which will help move into that feeling that I'm going for. Okay, so let's just put down something here first. Let's go back to bass trombone. Okay, but that's too inception-y. And we have to remember we're in 6/8 here. All right, let's put that in. Okay, I don't like that rhythm. Let's get in there and adjust it a bit. It goes back up too quickly. Let's try extending this for a bar. Oops. Let's try having this come in later. See, what I was writing, I don't feel like I was doing it in 6/8, so it's not quite fitting in what I'm doing here. But we can make it work. Oops. Keep going down too far. Okay, let's go with that there. And let's just try getting some. Let's get in some other instruments and see what it sounds like. I don't think the horn. Yeah, I think that's out of range for the horn. Okay, and then let's get. Oops. The trombones, the tenor trombones here. Let's go for an E flat for all three of these. Oh, but let's bring it down an octave. Okay, let's try D flat. That's a bit too much, even though I don't hate it. Okay, let's leave that on E flat for now and mute it, and then see if we can come up with a pattern underneath in the with spiccato strings to kind of outline harmony there and start putting in a little bit of balance for what we've got in those lines. Oops, that's what we're trying to do. All right, so we're gonna go down here, put an E for spiccato. Ah, there we go. Okay, these should all be spiccato now. Okay, let's start with the spiccato in the violins too, because that's the one I like the most between the two violins. And let's set this to loop. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me get the metronome playing because I'm kind of confusing myself here. And let's bring it down some more. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, let's try that. Let's give ourselves a little bit more room here to see. And for some reason, Reaper always resizes every time I open up a piano roll MIDI editor. And eventually it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's what I was doing. I believe. No, that's not what it was. I don't know if I like the C, D, E flat. All right, let's turn the metronome off. All right, and then obviously we can't just have it blasting like that. Okay, I think we need to go longer. Shoot. Okay, that just doesn't. It sounds too many notes, too fast. Let's de-emphasize some. Oops. De-emphasize some and see what we can do. No, that's not what we want to do. Ah, my goodness. Do I have more than one note there? Where's the other note? Oh. Well, that's not going to hurt, but let's get rid of it for the sake of cleanliness. Okay. What's the tempo like for this? Okay, I think the tempo's fine there. Here, I think it's just too fast. But let's also just try bringing it all down. See, they just sound too intense. Like it doesn't sound like a light touch to it. Oh no. Let's see if that helps. It just sounds too frantic, like they're struggling to play it. When I need a much lighter touch. Okay. I think we're gonna have to call in Albion Solstice, Elder. There's a shorts from one of them that has a good, nice, tight short one, but I can't remember which, so I'll just have to figure it out. Okay, so let's see how the Elder 6 sound. Oops. Okay, I think the brush spiccato is the best I found so far there. But the thing is, even when I'm bringing the velocity down, it still sounds like it's playing. It still sounds like the player is playing it at a higher dynamic volume, but just bringing the volume of it down. Okay, I'm just gonna humanize the volume, the velocity of this a bit, get some slight variations. And then let's bring down the dynamics of the brass, so it's more foreboding. You know, that's not really, again, same thing. I feel like I'm bringing down the dynamics there, but it just feels like I'm lowering the volume of a loud horn. So let's try. There's this other one from this free library. What is it? Is it in here? Okay. Let's see. I don't think it has what I was looking for in here. Let's see what these sound like, though. I mean, that could be useful, but that's not what I'm looking for right now. What's this sound like? Nope. Warm ensemble I know I like. But that's not what I'm looking for right now. Luminous Trio. You know, that's not too bad for some sort of wonder mystery. Okay, let's go to the other version. The first version of this. Here it is. Because I believe they have some sort of soft brass in it. No. What do wild winds sound like? Well, that's fun, but that's not what we need. Okay, what else? Ominous lows. Let's take a listen to that. Okay, too much piano in there. And I was gonna say I'm not looking for tremolo, but maybe tremolo could be good here. All right, let's keep that in the back of our mind while we browse here some more. Okay. Not the sound we're going for. All right, so where was that then? Maybe it's one of these blueprint ones. Let's look at what we have. Strings, violin, piano, gentle brass. I think that's the one. Doesn't have a sound that we like. That doesn't sound like it has strength to it. I don't need it to be strong, but I need it to be supported. So let's mute both of these and just see where it's at. It's also very dry, which isn't a problem, but what happens here? Okay, that's not gonna work. What else we got? Let's try the gentle winds. That already sounds pretty low. So let's bring it up an octave. That switches instruments halfway through. I feel like I spent so much time looking for the right instrument. And often I feel like I don't ever get there. Okay, let's look at what Spitfire Labs has that might work here. Okay. We want something with sustain that is sort of patty, but not doesn't take too long for the attack to really come on. Okay. Don't really have that much downloaded there for that. What else? Maybe let's try the basses. But let's do, what do we have here? Let's try. Okay, so we have the concertino, flautando, and soltasto. Let's try these ones and see how we feel. That's so annoying. Okay, that's not too bad. No, don't like that at all. All right. Let's also try that over here. And then let's move the basses down an octave. All right, and then I think we still bring the tempo down. Let's try 110. And we just sort of gotta get used to that after hearing it blasting through so fast. Okay, and I think let's try something else instead of that. And turn the metronome back on. Oops. All right. Let's try adjusting that here. What? Why am I not getting anything there? What's happening here? Something's up with this region. Oh, am I still muted? It's still muted. Yeah, let's bring that down an octave. Let's add an octave. No. Okay, but we could change it up a little bit on top, make it a little bit off from the bottom. Oh, that's already where it was. Okay. Oops. Okay. I don't hate that. That's something I learned once, that a lot of times when you hear these staccato or spiccato ostinatos that go across multiple string parts, a lot of times they sound pretty similar from instrument to instrument, but one of them's a little bit off in one way from the other one, and it gives it just a little bit more of a depth, I guess, to it. Okay, E flat, D, E flat, F, E flat, E flat. I mean F. Wait a minute, I'm lost. Okay. Is that right? I feel like I can't see this anymore. My eyes are getting crossed. Okay, where's the middle? E flat, D, E flat, E flat, D, E flat, F, E flat, F, F, E flat, F. All right, so let's bring the overall volume of these ones down a bit, and then humanize the velocity in a different way. And actually, let's add some timing variability too. Oops. Not trying to delete both of those. No, just let me select this one. Why is it tied together? What's happening? I connected those somehow. What does this sound like here? Let's get rid of this for now. Let's put this in the cello. All right. Let's bring this one back in. Okay, we're losing this a bit too much. See, it just goes from can't hear it all to you can hear a bit to all of a sudden too loud. We don't really have enough in like the piano range and mezzo piano. The mezzo piano is a little bit too much. See, that's instantly too high. Ah. Okay, maybe we put this part in viola since I wasn't liking the way the spiccatos were sounding there. But obviously, we need to put up in its range. I feel like that's too big. Let's just try bringing this one down. Let's put those all together. All right, and then bring it down a bit. That's too far. Let's double this up here too. The bass clarinet, which I believe we're on legato. Oh, but that's going to be too high. Okay, I think that's better. All right, this cello part, let's try doubling that up in the violins. Violins 1. Okay, now let's try changing that up. Oops. Okay, so that with F, E flat, F, F, E flat, F. Those are doing the same things there. Let's try putting this on a G. All right, let's put that back and try putting this one on a G. No, not the viola. Let's change this up a bit. I don't think I like that. All right, let's go back and compare that to what we had already for the first melody. All right, so I think that's a good start for that. Definitely needs some more work, but I'm going to stop there for now, and we'll come back and take a further look at it and develop this further, because I don't have that much here yet, but we're going to be able to make it come along. So pay attention to the next video where I will continue this one and we can see it really come together and develop it further. For those of you who have made it this far, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.